What's going on? Time for an update. Now, as you can see here, we have started a fresh eval last week, 50K, and this has probably been the most consistent that I've ever been in my trading since starting about 4 months ago. And I want to talk about what I've changed, what I've fixed, not just in terms of the trades that I take, but in terms of my psychology, because I feel like it can really help you out. Now, obviously, I'm still new to trading. Only been doing it for 4 months now, and I'm at the point where I'm really starting to get down to a good strategy. I've got a good foundation of a strategy for my trading, and I'll show you the trades that I've taken as of more recently. Yesterday on this 50K funded, but the monthly P&L is looking really good, really healthy at the moment. And really, apart from this day here, which is more so like a break even, we haven't really had any red days, right? And I want to talk about my thought process that goes into it. With this 50K eval, okay, we've got to get to 3,000 in profit. So we're about 1,000 away, okay? And I'm just going to keep going at it the exact same way that I have been for the past week and really just stick to the plan. So another thing I want to really mention here with this new 50K funded is my win rate has gone up considerably. Now, it's not going to be like this, okay? I would say, look, once it evens out, the win rate's probably going to be, I would say, long term, like 50%, right? That's just what I'm getting at. I will have weeks that are like this, but if I can get to like a 50% win rate, that would be huge. Okay, so I'm not sure on a lot of win rates, but even if I could get it to like 60%, whether that's wishful thinking or not, I'm not sure. But all I can say is that my conviction going into the trades that I've been taking, and also just my confidence in my trading, not just the trading itself, but sticking to my plan, has skyrocketed. And I want to talk about some of the mindset shifts that I've gone into. But first, I want to just talk about the trade that I took yesterday and my thought process going into this, because as you can see here, like I'm only doing maximum 2 trades a day, and this has been there's a reason why I'm doing this. It's with intention, okay? Because I was taking like too many trades per day. I would take maybe like, I would set it to a max of 3, but it ended up being like 4 trades a day, maybe 5 trades a day, and it wasn't good for my trading, for my P&L, and for my mentality. So let's have a look at the trades I took yesterday. I think I went through this one on a YouTube video, on the last YouTube video, but we'll take a look at yesterday. So I took a trade on gold yesterday. I took 2 trades on gold, and I marked them out here. And I won't go too much into the thought process, but really, if we go to the 1 hour, we are bullish. Okay, so I played into that bullish structure. Okay, in my mind, we're at least going to this high. I'd say we'll probably reach this high, at least closer to the end of the day here. It's 1 p.m. my time in Australia. And on the trades that I've taken yesterday, I was just playing into that bullish structure. Now, I won't talk too much about my actual strategy, right? Because I don't really think I'm qualified to talk about it, but really I just trade based off of a lot of support and resistance. And first trade that I'd taken here, I took around here. It hit this level of support. This is on the 3-minute, and I was aiming for it to get to this high here. Then it actually ended up reversing, and I got break even. Now, here's a big change in my mentality, which would have probably caused this to be a losing day in the past. Before, what would happen is if I get break even, so as you can see here, it hit break even and then it went straight to my TP after that. Usually, what would have happened in the past was I would have tried to look for a re-entry. I would have had, been fearful of missing the move, and I would have tried to get in, and it would have been like a worst risk to reward. And it would have put me at more risk, right? And I would have just been at fear of missing out on the move. After this happened, I thought, all right, let's just get off the chart. Don't worry about it. Let's just wait for another move. So later on, so this was at about 5, almost 5:30. 5, this was around, so that would have been around about 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so around about 8 o'clock. I think that's right, 8. Yeah, 8 o'clock. So this move, or this structure formed, and it hit this level of resistance, hit this point of support here. And I thought to myself, okay, the way that the candles are structured, I've seen this happen time and time again. Let's put in a long. My first initial target was here. But then once it got to this high, it started reversing, and I thought, look, I'm going to wait a little bit. And as it started to reject, I thought, okay, let's get out here. Got out for 2.74 RR, which is about, I think, a little over $400, as I mentioned earlier. And that's how the trade played out, right? Now, this ended up going again. It would have hit my break even and then gone up again. But I was happy that I took out the profits here. I could have targeted this high, and as it reversed, I could have taken profit up here, but I'm happy with where it landed. The biggest thing that I'm happy about here is that I didn't try, I didn't get any FOMO. I didn't try and catch another move or anything like that straight after this break even though it went up here. Before I would have been tilted and, that it hit break even and went straight to take profit, and I would have tried to get in straight away. I'm not doing that. I'm just waiting. So let's just have a talk about this and why this is such a different P&L to where I was at, and just a couple of the mindset shifts and changes I've made to my training. So first off, the big psychological shift for me was there's two things here. One, I took the pressure off of being results driven with my trading. So I have a couple of businesses that I run. I've been running for quite a while now. What I was doing before was I was putting in too much focus on the results of my trading. And what I've done now is I've just focused more on my business and focused more on the results of that. And then just in terms of my trading, just focus on the process. So instead of me sitting on the charts all day trying to look for a move, and if I'd miss out, I'd get FOMO and try and enter and blah, blah, blah. No, I got off, I just get off the charts majority of the day. I'm really looking at the charts like not even half of what I was, like a quarter of what I was, and just set out my levels, my key points of whether it's support or resistance, and wait for the structure to play out of price, right? That I want to see. I took out all of the results, like ideas of results in my trading, and I just looked at the process. I looked at it as a process, and my goal is just to take the exact same trade 10 times, 20 times, 50 times over. And that's all I want to see, just taking the exact same trade. And that's taken off a lot of the pressure, me focusing on my business. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is really, it comes down to taking less trades. So my mindset is that if I take a trade today, if something forms and I take a trade, let's say I take that trade today and it's a loss. Okay, I'm risking less, by the way. I'm only risking like maybe around $150 per trade on this 50K. If I take that trade and I lose and it's $150 loss, say for this one trade, I'm not going to look for another re-entry straight away. I'm just going to take the loss, accept that it's happened, and come back later. If there's a re-entry soon after, that actually makes sense. And it makes sense not for reasons of emotion where I'm like, hey, look, I feel like I'm going to miss the move. No, if it makes sense in terms of price and I see price doing what I want it to do, then I might get in soon after. But what I'm doing now is if I take a loss or if I take a break even, just like I did yesterday, I get off the charts. And then what I did when I took this win yesterday is I locked myself out and got off the charts. So either way, I'm taking less trades. So they're the two things that have really helped me. Now, another thing that I've done, which can really help, this is a little extra here, is I've just been more patient. This has allowed me to be more patient. And funny thing is that when I've stopped focusing on the actual results, and I haven't focused on the P&L, like it wasn't my goal to get $1,500 for the week for my P&L. It wasn't my goal to like, I wasn't aiming for these numbers. I was just focusing on the process. Like this trade here, I just focused on key levels of support and resistance and where price is most likely to go, following my plan. And the trades are just playing out as they happen, right? These would actually come out to higher trades. Like I think this could have been like a $500 or $600 trade. This one could have been a $400 trade. And I'm just taking profits where I see fit, right? Instead of just sabotaging myself. Okay, so at least I'm coming out with something and taking out profits where it makes sense. So it's been a huge mindset shift for me, and I just want to keep going on in this direction of my trading, because I'm thinking now, once I'm funded with this account, all I need to do is just continue sticking to this plan. And I'm thinking of this in terms of my funded account. If I can go into a funded account with this same mindset, right? So say for instance, if this was a funded account, 1, 2, 3, 4, I need one more winning day of $150, I'd be at a balance of over 2,000, and I'd be able to take out my first $1,000 payout, right? So no, I'm not trying to think about the balance and think about the money, but I'm just thinking if I just continue following this process and I go into this, once I'm funded, go into this with the exact same mentality, the results will come, the money will follow, right? It's process first. It's very different if you're someone who's run a business before, or someone like me who's been running a business for a while. Business is very push, push, push. The more input you put in, the more output. You got to go after it. You've got to make sure that you wake up every day and push. And you got to make sure that you put in so much input, so much effort that you get results. You got to force a lot of things to happen with business. Now, I've had to really change up my mindset with trading. It's almost the opposite. Trading is very much patience and waiting for the market to show you what it wants to do, right? So I have two different parts of my brain now, which I've become so much more comfortable with. One is my business mindset brain, which is push, push, push. Don't settle for less. Make sure to go after it each and every day, right? And I focus on that. What that allows me to do in my trading is, hey, look, take a step back on my trading, wait for things to form. If my model doesn't form and price, so let's just say if I'm looking for a long and I'm waiting for a price to come down to a certain support level and it doesn't and it goes up without me, that's just how it is. Doesn't fit what I wanted it to do. I'm not going to get in and take a trade just because of fear of missing out of the move. And that's really helped me, right? So just wanted to update you on what's been going on. Really, if I keep going in this trajectory, hopefully by the end of the week, I have this passed. But we'll see. Look, if today ends up being like $100 trade, $200 trade, whatever, if it's still in the green and I'm still following my plan, I'm happy, right? I'm happy if I'm following my plan. That's the biggest thing. So I'd say if you were to take anything out of this, figure out where you're going wrong with your psychology, because I started to get to the point with my trading, and I think every trader goes through this sort of around month 3 or 4, where I'd been funded before. I'd built up a bit of a balance on my funded, but then sort of had to go through a lot of things with my psychology, and I started to get to the point where I was losing so badly and so consistently. And yes, I knew it was psychology, but I didn't know what I needed to fix. I got to the point where, because I was having so many losses, it kind of forced me to face reality and forced me to get to sort of that low point in my trading where I thought, what do I need to fix in my psychology, right? So for me, what really helped, another thing was I just said, look, once I blew that funded account, I had, I think, 1, maybe 2 evals that I was doing, and I was just going about trading the wrong way. Like, this was a few weeks ago now, or about a month ago. I thought to myself, you're not going to get anywhere if you keep doing the same thing. So I got a fresh 50K eval. This was last week on the Wednesday. And I said to myself, I'm going to take the exact same trade, every single trade, right? I'm only going to take trades that I know, that I've seen before, and only if they look exactly the way that I want them to look. And that's all I've done. The exact same model that I've gone after, because I was getting to the point where I was thinking, hey, is it my, and this is the trap that a lot of people fall into. It's like, hey, is it my strategy? This doesn't seem to be working, blah, blah, blah. And then I look back at my trades, and if I look back at them now, I sort of sit there and think, Jack, what are you doing? Like, why do the trades look like this? There's a reason why they're not working, right? You're too impatient. You're trying to focus on results. You're not taking the same trade over and over and over again. So my goal with my trading is to have it be consistent, repetitive in the sense where I'm taking the same trades over and over and over again, and simple. I don't want my trading to be complex, because the more simple you can make your trading, I've found, the easier it is to get results. And trading's a really funny thing. Like, say for this trade, for instance, it was easy. Like, it just, yeah, it's a pretty big trade in my books. This is probably like one of my bigger trades, right, to date. And I just followed what price was doing, and I just said, look, it's probably going to go down to this level. This was a short on MNQ on Friday, and I thought this probably just going to go down to this level, and I just wrote it down. I just rode price down because I set my support level. I set my where the resistance was, and I said, okay, it's probably going to go down to this level of support, and I just rode price, and that's all I did. That's all I did. It was nothing complex. Same with this trade here, right? This trade very, very well could have been like a $600 trade. But again, as I said, took my profits where I saw fit. And it just adds up over time and it just compounds. Like I can see myself now, once I can get consistent payouts on a 50K, then I can start to scale. And I say to myself, okay, well, what if I do this copy traded over 5 accounts? Where will I be then? What if I get $1,000 payout on one 50K funded? But then what if I do it 5 times over? Just $1,000 payout, right? But I copy traded over 5 different accounts. Like this is, I see now why people say once you do start to figure out your own style of trading and once things do start to click, things can compound very quickly. And I'm very thankful that I'm going through this now. The community that I'm in, Trading Pool, I've got quite a lot of help there just in terms of my mentality and just from more experienced traders and what they've experienced. And it's really helped a lot because it really is a big psychological thing. So again, the goal with this is just obviously to become funded. I'm just focusing on this one account. I don't have any other accounts right now. I'm not trying to have any other accounts. I want to just be consistent with this one, get a payout, and then get a second and a third payout. So that shows me that I can build some consistency. Then I will reinvest and get more accounts, most likely on Top Step or on something else, whether it's Lucid or another prop firm that I feel like is good. And I just want those skills to be transferable and just consistent over time, right? Doesn't matter what prop firm I use, and then eventually to a live account, that doesn't matter. Right now, it's just the process. And this process is proven to be working. And this level of psychology that I'm at right now, where I'm sitting and the way that I'm holding myself on the charts is where I want to be. And this is showing me that proof. So just wanted to update you on what's been going on. But really, if you're struggling with psychology, just take what I said into consideration. There's a few things that you can change here. Everyone's different. Some people might oversize, over leverage. You might revenge trade. You might be scared of taking setups. I had an issue early on where I was scared to take setups. Then I went from me being scared to take setups, then I would get in too early and take setups when I shouldn't. And it's just a whole learning process. So really figure out where you need to work where you need to work on your psychology with, and write it down as you're journaling, because you should be journaling and you should be logging your trades. And the best trades you can log, I've found, are your losers, right? I could log all my winning trades, but yes, it does help because then I can see, okay, this model is repeating itself over and over. But the biggest lessons I've learned from my losing trades. So that's another thing I want to say. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you're watching. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.